Tarkenton's first pro coach was Van Brocklin, a man who had come as close to immobility as a quarterback as is possible without growing roots. Van Brocklin scoffed at Tarkenton's early scrambles, but today Francis can look back and laugh at the legion of critics who claimed his scrambling tactics were self-defeating and he was not a strong passer.
I didn't have an arm that could throw the ball 100 yards. I scrambled, which was a terrible thing for a quarterback to do. How could you not stay in the pocket all the time? Because that's the way a quarterback was supposed to be. And all these things were hard for a lot of people to adjust to. Writers, sportscasters, coaches, so forth. And they couldn't see how this freak could come and play. And so I've somehow defied some of those criticisms and odds, and now people are finally saying that, well, maybe we were wrong.
Although many old-timers might not be able to stomach it, Fran Tarkenton is on the verge of proving that he is the greatest professional quarterback who ever drew back an arm. He has already completed more passes than any player in history. By the end of this season, he will break every meaningful record available to a passer. Tarkenton has spent nearly half his career with losing teams, and he hasn't always benefited from brilliant receivers. He can throw long and short and medium. He's a leader, and he doesn't panic. The fact is, whether you like a scrambler or not, and whether or not you like a guy who throws a lot to his backs, and whether you don't accept a guy who has never won the big one, Fran Tarkenton is going to become the all-time, lifetime career passer, and the critics can just shut up. In addition to his passing records, Tarkenton is the only man who has averaged 6 yards or better per rushing attempt for more than 500 carries. And that puts Francis ahead of Jim Brown, ahead of Gale Sayers, ahead of everybody.
Most quarterbacks that play today are mobile quarterbacks. The Staubachs, the Bradshaws, the Greaseys are all people who can run with the football, who can scramble, who can buy time to get more time to pass. And these are the guys that are the most successful in our game now. I think the time that a guy can go back 7 yards in the pocket and not move out is gone. And I think it's a hindrance to, let's say, Joe Namath, because he's got bad knees. He cannot move. But he does not get the advantage of being able to roll out, use a lot of play-pass action, or get out of trouble, and he has to sit back in the pocket. It's a tremendous handicap to him.
Only a few years ago, the passing records that Tarkenton is closing in on seemed like the future property of another man. But this season, Joe Namath leads the NFL only in throwing interceptions. His arm is still sound. It's his knees that are all but gone. Before each game, they are strapped so tightly in metal braces that they cut down his mobility. Said Steeler tackle Dwight White, number 78, "You know where he's going to be all the time. He's handicapped." Namath has suggested that he might retire at the end of this season. He has already retreated from the glitter of Manhattan's nightlife and rents a house in a quiet neighborhood of Garden City, a Long Island suburb. "I've only been to New York City once in the past 8 weeks. The traffic's too bad," says Namath. It couldn't be any rougher than the Sunday traffic on the field.
Well, this week's feature concerns one of the greatest breakaway runners of all time. I know I missed him a few times myself. San Francisco's Hugh McElhenny. Take a good look at him because he's one of a vanishing breed.
This is Hugh McElhenny at the Los Angeles Coliseum, where the San Francisco 49ers are...
Just about everything that's happened on a football field, I've experienced it. And as an announcer, I try to express the feelings of the individual ball players. If it was a fumble, I try to tell the people what it feels like to fumble in that particular situation.
Trying to correct his mishap of last week and really cradling that ball. This is really heartbreaking. And
Hugh McElhenney has been involved with the world of football all of his life. He's a radio commentator for the San Francisco 49ers now because he likes it. He played halfback for them because he loved it. He now watches the game he once ruled. For during the 50s, Hugh McElhenny was not just the best. He was the king.
Running with a football is a sense. After the ball is snapped and you get the ball, you're really not thinking. You're just kind of reacting. And you go to an area, but you react from that point. I was never an individual that liked or appreciated body contact, so I always tried to avoid it as much as I could. And maybe that was the reason that I ran the way I did. I really never considered myself that great a football player to be in the Hall of Fame. And when I was enshrined and Lou Spadia stood up before the audience on the steps of the Hall of Fame and talked about my character and not my statistics, this moved me tremendously and made it very difficult for me to really express myself.
I was asked several months ago what I would say here this afternoon. And I felt I did not need to prepare a speech. For I knew, as I stand here before you, the emotional individual that I am, that this would happen to me. This is the greatest honor that has ever been bestowed upon me. My parents, my wife, and my children accept this honor as I do.
Oh, beautiful.
I know that I'm a very emotional person, but this was really the greatest moment in my life.
In our feature this week, we'll be taking a look at Norm Van Brocklin, the head coach of the Atlanta Falcons. We'll see that Van Brocklin's position as coach is a demanding one because he must function in many roles. He must be a teacher, disciplinarian, and strategist. He must know how to deal with men and boys. Above all, he must instill a fierce pride in his players, pride enough to go out and win when they're supposed to, and sometimes even when they're not.
Come on over here, Wabash. We get 3rd and 3. You always want to get the what first? 3 yards. Don't turn sideways now.
Yes, sir.
You know, turn upfield now.
All right.
Turn, see?
Yes, sir.
I mean, I can't tell you how to run except when we got to have the first and 10, we get that first, right?
Yes, sir.
Let's take the $1.98 and wait for the home run later.
All right.
All right, Jim?
Yes, sir.
Let's go, Campbell. Home, baby.
Now, listen. We want you to play defense as you're instructed to play. You understand?
Yes, sir.
I don't want you up there running around faking blitzes and getting out of position. You understand?
Yes, sir.
You line up where you're supposed to line up. None of that Harry High School, fake this. Do what we're told.
Yes, sir.
You can't play football in the NFL. You can't play football for me. If you don't, if you're not coachable.
Okay.
You start there, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Let's play our defense, right?
That blitz now.
Kenny, you should have had that interception. You're running there looking at the ball. Go get it. It's hanging there like a parachute. Go ball react. Ball react.
Van Brocklin experiences total involvement in every aspect of the game, as only one who has played the game can. He feels the same pressures as do his players.
Had it, baby. Ah, Mouth, at 20, you couldn't cover me.
Van Brocklin is a disciplinarian who tailors his discipline to fit the situation and the individual.
All right. You go back in the game till I tell you to. Understand, Harmon? You're in the big leagues now. You understand?
Yes, sir.
Well, let's start growing up.
Okay, Bobby, Will Blitt.
He's
going to be out there, too.
Yeah, but run the fan. By the time he gets back out, it'll be underneath.
Linebackers jammed you both times.
No, I'll send it in.
Shall I tell him?
I'll send it in. You
Okay.
tell him nothing. Just do what I tell you to do. X, 81, X, pivot out. But don't run till I tell you to. We'll get a nice drive going first.
Coach, when we run the bingo and they get in the tango position, look like a real blitz. He wants to take him and crack back on the end.
No, just go ahead. You go out.
Probably the most important role Van Brocklin must fill is that of a strategist, for it is the effectiveness of his strategy that determines whether he wins or loses.
Flex, red right, 75, X corner. Tell the left half to take Will pause the flat, see?
Pause flat. Just make it 75 flat.
75, X corner. Instead of turning, take a step in and go to the corner. Now you look over to the halfback, see, that's pausing, see? Yeah. If they blitz, he's got a man-to-man, see?
Yeah.
Right?
Right. Give him a good
You
move.
take a good move to the inside and go right to the corner. Right? They're playing the turn now.
Pick it up now. Pick it up.
All right, here we go.
Go right off the
Right
button.
now, right now.
Let's go, Big O.
That X corner off that 75. What yard line? 5-yard line. That's the way to look for that gap 8. Way to go, Ray. Way to go, Bobby.
Despite any qualities a coach may have, there is no such thing as a sure win. A minute and 47 seconds is more than enough time to lose a 3-point lead, and with Tarkenton and the Giants on the move, Van Brocklin takes on a new role, that of a man whose hopes for a win rest with his defense and their ability to make the big play.
We got 3 timeouts left. We get this ball, we got to go, see? Run double wing rights and left with cannonball 36s. Just 30, yeah, out.
My friend covered the